We got an SCP written by Anonymous. No author page this time. Alright, Anonymous, you wrote being Shirley Gillespie? I assume that's how you say the name. Or Gillespie? Is that actual? Let's see if that's an actual person. I mean, there are person called like that, but I'm not sure if they're like anybody famous. Dr. Shirley. Okay, that's just this me directed to the SCP stuff. Okay, that's just being Shirley Gillespie. Yeah, that must be the thing that Howard told me, with the link to slide 77 and Dr. Shirley, which is just an I mean, we can read this. This is pretty short. Although wait, SCP. Hold on. Okay, yeah, no, I feel like we can read that. It's not that long. Okay, let's go. Object class Euclid, special containment procedures. The entrance to SCP-2322 is to be locked and kept under guard at all times. It is to be labeled as a high security records room, and all research materials are to be stored next door. SCP-2322 is located across from the former director office for Site 77. A record of Director Shirley. Okay, I'm going to call it Gillespie. Or Gillespie. Actions on January 11th, 1999 has been created. Director Gillespie was heavily involved in the creation and maintenance of this record. To ensure the most accurate possible result, adjustment to the SCP-2322 database had to be checked against Foundation records from the time. I'm probably... Let's see, how long is all this? Yeah, let me read this now. Dr. Shirley Gillespie was doing her daily rounds when she noticed something curious. In a clear plastic tank where there was usually an old-fashioned janitor's mop floating in the gentle current, there was instead a hot splash of nothing. This was a problem, since Director Gillespie was not aware of any reason for this mystical mop to be absent. Yes, the acid mop. She pursed her lips slightly. Her entourage knew what that meant. Security Director Anderson was the first to speak up. I apologize for not informing you sooner, Director. That object has been requisitioned for observation. Gillespie didn't look at him. Oh, really? I wasn't aware that I had authorized any such testing. You haven't. The orders came from higher up. Need to know bases and all. Gillespie showed him a glare. Anderson, I expect a better explanation than that. These, whoever they are, come into my side like they own it, and you don't tell me a thing? Well, interjected her grandson Ralph Roger to the relief of everybody else in the room. Perhaps it's not so bad, Director. Perhaps somebody from Overwatch is taking notice of our work. After all, how else could our great security director not have time to inform me before our rounds? Gillespie nodded and took off down the hall at a brisk pace. Anderson, where are the observations being held? Science 77 Nuclear Testing Wing. Director Gillespie made her way to the back row of the observation booth as quietly and inconspicuously as she and 15 other people could. They needn't have worried about the interlopers being alerted to their presence. The men up front were completely focused on the testing chamber below. Director Carlyle was the centerpiece of the group, observing the testing while the other took notes. He was a lanky man with dark glasses that accentuated his shiny chrome dome. He's bald. Dude. His hands were the only... It would be funny if he had like a mustache and it was just fucking Gel Robotnik from Sonic. Were the only ones in the group that weren't busy. Instead, they were followed behind his back. For another half hour, men scribbled down on clipboards and continued with videotaping and other assorted things you do when documenting anomalous activity. When the lights came on, Carlyle was the first to turn around and was just as surprised as everybody else to see that they were not alone anymore. He was the only one to know who he was surprised to see, though. Gillespie matched the dossier description he'd been given. A small older woman, permed and dressed in a simple white shirt and shorts. Innocuous at first and second glance, she hardly struck the impression of a woman who could control an entire site, but here she was, surrounded by a titanic stone-faced man and one young man by her side. Director Gillespie, I presume? Gillespie stood up, holding her purse in both of her hands. Yes. She moved to the stairs, descending towards the gatherings of observers. You seem to know my name, sir, but I don't think we have had the pleasure of being formally introduced. Carlyle struck his hand out at a stiff 80-degree angle. Director Carlyle Actus. I apologize for the intrusion, Director, and for the unannounced arrival. We've had to come on a need-to-know basis, you see, and... I don't need to know. Gillespie smiled at him. I see. Whatever you and your boys are doing here must be terribly important. Yes, very important. I have heard a lot about your work here, Director. Carlyle tried to do a passable impression of a casual smile. Gillespie imitated it. I'm so glad my work is known outside our little domain. She turned around and motioned towards Dr. Roger. Ralph, come meet the man from Overwatch. I never started Carlyle, but he was interrupted by a bounding young man coming within a few inches of him. Dr. Roger grinned and stuck out his hand. Hi, I'm Rolf. Charmed. Carlyle shook his hand, his eyes still on Director Gillespie. You are the esteemed director's grandson, are you not? Yep, he grinned like a wicked child. I've heard a lot about you, Doctor. Carlyle frowned quietly. What? Oh, well, maybe if you met the director for tea, she can tell you all about it. Carlyle broke off the handshake and folded his hands behind his back. That would be desirable, if your director would have me. Gillespie grinned, despite the difference in the way they two presented themselves. Actors saw the family resemblance. Of course, we can see you in the tea room as soon as you're ready. Well, it's not a part of the article, it's just part of... as Howard said, character development for Gillespie. It's not really important to the... Oh, you mean this general article? Yeah, definitely. definitely. Yes. Ralph retreated to her side and she whispered in his ear. They ascended up the stairs and the entourage followed. Carlyle watched them both as they went. Tea time. Director Gillespie sipped... I mean, it's not too fanficky to me. It's a director that went to another director's place and just took over. I can see that doesn't jive well in the Foundation world. But yeah, I feel like the nephew... Grandson, never mind. Why did I say nephew? The grandson might be a bit more cartoonish. For sure. Director Gillespie sipped her tea. It's going to get cold if you just leave it there, Mr. Actus. I am well aware, Carlyle said, shifting his seat. I'm just not fond of burning my tongue. An odd aversion to risk for someone in your line of work, Gillespie said, closing her eyes as she set down her teacup, which is... There's not something I'm at the liberty to discuss. I see. Gillespie began, absentmindedly stirring sugar into her tea. Now, do you do this mysterious work as part of a larger scheme for our commanders, or do you do it out of the kindness of your heart? We are reactivating old projects, that's all I can say. Ones that involve acid. Are you using them for containment, control, or something else? I did not say any of that. Carlyle frowned as he picked up his teacup. I would appreciate if you did not make assumptions about my work. But you won't tell me anything. Conversation is a two-way street. That's something I learned from Ralph. Whenever he's mad or pouting, I talk at him and until he was ready to talk back. I would hope you would not be so prying to a young man's life. Carlyle sipped his tea and found it bitter. Gillespie smiled at him. Of course. Enjoying your tea? Yes, thank you. Gillespie sipped her tea. So, since you've come all the way around the world to meet us, I assume you know something about our fair Site 77? Sadly, I'm ignorant. Carlyle peered into his tea. Are you going to elaborate for me? Well, perhaps you'd like to return to our former avenue of discussion. Before Gillespie could respond, Anderson came in the room and placed biscuits on the table. Gillespie waited until she heard the door shut before she continued. Site 77 has been here in this lovely Italian country since before the Second World War. So is Site 77 like canonically in Italy? Because it has been mentioned a couple of times, right? I wasn't even aware of the foundation then. My family and I lived in West Virginia, in Huntington, where my father ran a grocery store. Carlisle modeled something that sounded like fascinating. During the war, the site was bombed, which caused a major containment breach. A lot of people died. Isn't it terrible how things can cascade like that? What do you mean? Carlisle asked as he reached for a brisket. Bombs fall, and because of what we kept here, there was so much terrible bloodshed. An awful thing when anomalies can run rampant like that. Well, Carlisle started, crumbs popping out of his mouth like shrapnel. Before he could continue, Gillespie cut him off. Don't talk with your mouth full. Another Carlisle swallowed. Well, that is only because we lost control. That's a real tragedy. If we had any anomalous countermeasures to stop the bombs from even getting that close, it would have been another story. Does that count as defending the weaponization of anomalous objects? I did not say that. But you're not denying it. Carlisle huffed. I do not appreciate being badgered like this. You're not being very hospitable, Miss Gillespie. Why being hospitable to somebody who just fucking entered your house without permission, you know? Director, please. Gillespie took a biscuit and leaned back in the chair. Don't worry, I'm not here to lecture you about how we learned about that in the good old days. I'm going to tell you that I want to help. Beg your pardon? This is my field of interest, pushing my objects to places nobody would expect. Why do you think I hoard them? Them? Please, take a step back, Director. I'm in no position to offer me a job, I know, but we must have a lot to pull. To be able to just drop in wherever you please. Maybe you can let the powers that be know that Shirley is ready for another job. Not to be sappy, but I'm getting bored of the skip. Well, it's not a skip, it's a tail. Site 77 Administrative Apartments. As Dr. Rocha helped his grandmother pack, he could help himself but to worry about her. Are you sure you want to leave me in charge? Anderson would be more than happy to take over, I'm sure. Gillespie smiled at him as she packed her toiletries. You'll do fine. Anderson isn't half as qualified as you are. Besides, I can't trust him to stand up for anybody like you would. Hey, Howard said no tails. He said the tail is not important, and I said I'm going to read it. So, we're already done with the tail anyway. Rolf smiled. How long do you think you'll be gone for? I don't know. But you will be able to keep things together for me while I'm gone, I'm sure. Don't worry about things. Are you ready to go? Carl just snapped into a case shot. I am actually kind of curious what she's planning. So she's hoarding the anomalies for some war-like event, it sounds like. That's interesting. And looks like Carlisle was also testing them for something in a weaponizing the SCPs. Okay, now that we know who she is and how she ticks, let's see what this SCP is all about. The description: SB-2322 designates a replica of Site-77's accessible from within Site-77. An Italian Foundation high-volume containment facility. Yeah, now we know that it's actually an Italian Foundation. Well, it does say an Italian Foundation. Okay, yeah, so it's remote analysis of SB-2322's interior has proven impossible, with all equipment indicating that the entrance to SB-2322 is a blank wall within Site-77. Furthermore, this room does not appear as on Site-77's blueprint. Personnel who enter SB-2322 will find themselves in a replica of Site-77 appeared on January 11, 1999 at 6:30 a.m. Was this also... doesn't say here, eh? Okay. At 6:30 a.m., all personnel, anomalous objects, and inanimate objects have been replicated and will behave consistently in every loop. So the acid broom is in here then. To varying levels of details, because that's where Gillespie said that's the first thing he saw. That's that this one here is in here. Okay. With every loop, all replicated personnel within SCP-2322 will identify the subject as Shirley. All replicated personnel within SCP-2322 will identify the subject as Shirley Gillespie, who was Site-77 director at this time. Okay, so here we do know that she left because of whatever Carlisle was doing. So Ralph is the director now, or at least so far we know. Foundation personnel have determined that in order to remain within SCP-2322, subjects must be able to recreate all actions performed by Director Gillespie on January 11th, 1999. All actions which occur within SCP-2322 are on a loop, replicating the events which occurred during this time. So okay, so you have to really know her. I wonder if Ralph will be mentioned in here, because he probably will be the most closest one that knows how she ticked. If a subject is not able to act as Director Gillespie convincingly, whether by acting suspiciously or not following the scripted actions, they will be escorted out of the building by security. In addition, personnel who were present at Site-77 during this time are unable to open any doors or operate any equipment while acting as Director Gillespie. Essential events documented. Document T, SCP-2322 Essential Actions, Director Gillespie on the 1st, 11th, 1999. Oh, 99, sorry. The following document details actions which must be performed in order to ensure the continuation of the SCP-2322 loop. While some actions appear to be optional or possible to perform in multiple ways, it is known that not performing these directions exactly will result in immediate ejection from SCP-2322. This makes it sound like Gillespie herself made this SCP. Which, you know now, that actually would be kind of funny if she, if because of Carlisle just entering her site without asking her for permission, she's like, oh yeah? Okay. I'm gonna make an anomaly that makes you have to be me for a day so you can actually even go into the site itself. and you're like, you have to act exactly like how I am if you want to get anything out of here. She was just very petty and just decided, like, I'm gonna have to highest level security. 7:30 a.m. Director Gillespie arrives in her office and begins a telephone discussion with Security Director Anderson regarding the upcoming day's operation. Meeting is concluded at 9:48 a.m. Subjects are instructed to smile and nod due to the fact that the Security Director Anderson and all other personnel on site are unintelligible. 10 a.m. Director Gillespie spends the day working on high-level documentation being prepared for review with Overwatch Command. Foundation personnel acting as Director Gillespie cannot fill out these documents due to the fact that they are written in an inconsistent and indecipherable language. Oh, she made this hard on purpose. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna write a language that they don't understand. Subjects must lock the office door to prevent Anderson from entering the office at 11:18 a.m., allowing him to enter immediately causes the current SCP-2322 loop to terminate. Wow. It's kind of like, you know how like in the League of Legends trailer for Echo, when he travels back in time and like repeats a loop over and over again just to like try to get something done. And like so he like learns each time like how to improve and which part to keep track of. I imagine it's kind of like that. Like the first time you go in there, you fuck up. It's like, okay, I got a smile and nod. So you do that, but then you forget to close the door, and then you get sent out again. You're like, okay, smile and nod, close the door. So you just have to like, keep track of all the steps. This is a roguelike SCP where you die over and over. Well, not die, but you have to redo the same level over and over again. 1 p.m. Exiting her office, Director Gillespie heads to the cafeteria for lunch. 3 p.m. oversaw the moving of anomaly E8812, an unclassified anomaly from the West Humanoid Containment Wing to the East Humanoid Containment Wing. This anomaly was reclassified as a neutralized 1 year before SCP-2322 became active. Notably, Director Gillespie has an extended conversation with E8812, and documentation from the following weeks shows that she recommended additional amenities be added to its containment chamber. Another footnote, these recommendations were not adopted apart from one amenity request for a bookshelf. At the end of the time within SCP-2322, subjects will be blindfolded by the replica security and escorted to a room with no corresponding location within the actual Site-77. The walls and ceiling of this room are not visible. An LCD television set is present on the floor and will display a rank of the subject's performance on a scale of 1 to 10, with a picture. You get Sonic ranked. A. S. With a picture of Director Gillespie smiling appearing if the subject scores above a 6. The subject will score a 3 or below will be unable to re-enter SCP-2322. Following the scoring, the subject will be ejected from SCP-2322. Actions which are known to improve the subject ranking include knowing the names of the individuals members of Site-77 Director Gillespie scenes during the day, taking any time during the day to move through Site-77's containment area, looking over knitting designs which Director Gillespie kept in her office drawer, spending less than 20 minutes eating, spending more than 30 minutes speaking to E8812. Once it has been vacated, a new subject may enter SCP-2322. Addendum. SCP-2322 testing log. She just thought this is the most get good SCP out there so far. Like, you want to pass? Yeah, get a high rating, high ranking. Can you speed run this? The date 4/13/2002. Procedure: human subject was sent through SCP-2322 after being briefed on SCP-2322's anomalous properties. Result: subject was able to pass through SCP-2322 as expected. Notes: baseline tests. Date 4/22/2002. Humanoid subject with anomalous properties which cause subjects to perceive them as small dog. Other than this, subject was briefed normally. No change. The anomalous nature of the subject appears to be irrelevant. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Date 4/3/2002. The first in a series of attempts to obtain a perfect score. Perfect. Subject was briefed thoroughly on Director Gillespie's activities during the day, able to follow through. However, the subject was injured in a slip and fall accident and ejected from SCP-2322. Oh, so it was an attempt on getting a perfect, but they slipped? No, you can't slip. That was not ranked and was ejected by SCP-232 security personnel after being injured. I love the idea of like they slip and the security inside the SCP is like, "You're not her. She would never slip." And it's just like toss you out. 5/29/2002. Subject was briefed early on Director Gillespie's activities during the day and was able to successfully accomplish all actions apart from interaction with E8812 due to the subject being unable to locate the humanoid containment wings of the facility. Subject was able to proceed through SCP-2322. However, they recalled that all site personnel were passive-aggressive towards them. No other notable digression from previous loops were noted. Okay, so you have to talk to that one for sure. Son, when you grow up in life, you need to three things. Have rich, provide for your be rich. Okay, I'm just gonna read this how it says here. Have rich, provide for your wife and kids, and always act like Director Gillespie. Yeah, like make sure you know her ins and outs. The deepest character analysis class ever. Following this test, the behavior of E8812 has been noted to be variable, with the objects frequently taking the place of random site personnel and other humanoid SCP's objects. In addition, when the subject interacted with E8812, its behavior was consistent with a recognition of the subject's true identity. Date 6/14/2002. The subject was an experienced Foundation contractor instructed to obtain a weapon and begin attacking site personnel indiscriminately instead of going through the loop. Subject was killed within SCP-2322 and ejected by force 45 minutes after entering. Notes, although they were killed while within SCP-2322, the subject was ejected unharmed at the end of the cycle. The subject could not account for the additional time spent within SCP-2322. That's interesting. So if you die in it, you get ejected and you are alive again. Date 6/22/2002. Subject was instructed to proceed through SCP-2322 normally, but to display extreme deference to E8812 if they encountered it. After concluding the encounter with E8812, the subject was to begin indiscriminately attacking Foundation personnel within the site. The result, subject was able to cause significantly more destruction and death than in previous tests, and was captured alive. Subject was held in a cell until termination of the loop instead of being terminated as in the previous test involving violence on the part of the subject. Note, subject was able to recall hearing E8812's voice angrily addressing unknown subjects outside of the holding cell. Subject was ejected following a standard evaluation, receiving a score of 4. 7/2/2002. Subject was instructed to follow the normal script, but to exhibit hostility and contempt towards E8812. In addition, during a meeting with Security Director Anderson, subjects are to instruct him to terminate the anomaly. Subject was not released from SCP-2322. In addition, the next subject to go through the SCP-2322 process noted that the appearance of E8812 has been altered to that of the lost subject. Ooh. This version of E8812 did not recognize the test subject, and no other traces of the subject have been found. No subject remains uncovered. I know that a lot of personnel have come to me asking if I'm aware of the nature of this anomaly, and I feel that I must clear up my interaction with E8812. I only ever saw it once, and we had a brief conversation where it described its living conditions. I recommended a few improvements, and some of them were implemented. That's it. I'm already cooperating with Site 77's research personnel to improve testing procedures. Do not bother me about this if you aren't one of them. I still like the idea that she did all this because fucking Dr. Carlisle decided to just enter into her site without asking or getting permission, and now she's like, okay, if that's the case. If you want to enter this site now, you best know how I am. You best do your research. How well can you be? I made an anomaly because I'm petty, pretty much. Pretty much. You disrespected me, I disrespect you back. You created me, I created you. I created you, you created me, that's how it goes. It's like every Are We Cool Yet SCP. Basically, they hate the Foundation. I mean, they hate fucking art. They hate anything that has to do with, has anything to do with, modern life. How well can you be Dr. Gillespie? You best put your acting game on if you want to pass the test. Or get kicked out if you fuck up. It's not too bad. Too bad. Just make sure you are nice to E8812. There we go. Pardon me. God damn. I also love how she's just kind of there we go. Kind of just left. She left the site, and now people are asking her questions. She's like, if you're not of the site, do not bother me. Don't even think about texting me. Which I'm like, fair enough.